Dun 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 dun. 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 Dun 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 dun.
You know, a podcast has made it in life when we start featuring people of this caliber. The general manager of Shoprite Zambia, Mr. Charles Bota, who, just from the name, Mr. Bota, I know a lot of people think you're white. You were telling me earlier how the police were shocked when you showed up on site and they were expecting Mr. Bota and a black man showed up. Does this happen often?
Very often, even to this day.
Well, what's the funniest occasion when this has happened, when people expected a white person and you showed up?
Well, there was a group. I went to Solwezi Shoprite. Okay, this is a few years ago. Went to Solwezi Shoprite, and I was with my immediate superior, who is the COO for Africa. He's now retired. And we got into Solwezi, and this giant of a South African white man, you know, was in the back of the store doing some work. He was doing some fire alarms or whatever they were. And then he walked up to us. I was myself, the CEO, the branch manager of the shop, the regional manager of that region, and a group of the managers. And he walked right up to my boss, and he extended his hand, and in his booming South African accent and language said, "Mr. Bota, it's a pleasure to meet you." And then the CEO said, "No, Mr. Bota is this one." Then he was shocked. He went red in the face. Afterwards, you know, the CEO said, "I would like to be in the room when that guy tells his wife that you will not believe what happened."
The embarrassment I went through today.
Yeah, so it happens quite a bit. But the reason is, obviously, it's a South African company, and my name, Bota, is very often, but I don't have the H in the name, because the South African has the H.
Oh!
So it's B-O-T-A.
Then I need to apologize, because I kept sending you messages with the H in it.
I saw that.
But what's the difference?
So Bota is Tumbuka. B-O-T-A is the South African version.
No! No, I was expecting to read it on your badge there. Wow. You know, so I was even about to say, when you write emails, especially to black South Africans, don't they feel some type of way? And I had all these questions about your name and how it could be connected to apartheid and how black South Africans would be against working with you.
I don't know. I'm not in their minds. But I would imagine something like that goes through them. But on my emails, fortunately, what the company's done now is that each email has a photo. So you have a photo of the guy. So you can see who the guy is. Within this internal system, if you click, you can see the entire detail of the guy.
So there's no awkwardness. People
not anymore.
mistaking you for a white man.
But for outsiders, yes. Yeah. I mean, you mistook me for...
Of course. And the whole time I've been thinking you're a white man. Mr. Bota, welcome to That Z Podcast.
Thank you very much, sir, Kalenga.
My name is Kalenga, and this episode, of course, is brought to you by Brothers, or should I say BigTree Beverages and the Brothers Drink. Remember, there's 4 flavors we have. As you can see, Goba, you're able to zoom in. We've got the Cosmo, the Mojito, the Strawberry and Crisp, the Pina Colada. Okay, Strawberry Lime Crisp, my bad. And this episode is also brought to you by Manda Hill, who of course have turned 25. Many people watching this episode, according to statistics on YouTube, are actually 25 years old. So the more is actually, could be older than some of the people watching this right now. How long have you been working from the mall?
From the mall, 25 years.
You've been here from day one.
I've been here from day one. So I've been with Shoprite from day one. I was the first employee, one of the first 13 employees.
In 1994.
1995. So the store opened the first store, which was Cairo Road, opened in 1995, October. Actually, a day after independence, Cairo Road. But I was employed in June of that year. So 1995, June. So I've been here 28, going 29 years now.
And Shoprite turns...
Shoprite turns 29 this year in October.
30
next year, October. The mall here and the store here was opened in 1995, November. It was on October. It was on it was in November 1999. And I've been around ever since then.
So this is the first in the many episodes where we're going to be talking about Manda Hill turning 25. It's the first, and of course, who better to have than someone who's seen this more from day one? Like, I'm sure you were there for the groundbreaking ceremony as well.
I was.
You
I
were
was
there
for the negotiations for the land. Went through quite a lot.
Tell us a bit
And
more
then
about
the
that. I'm more
groundbreaking.
interested to know the story behind Manda Hill being set up.
So, if you want to know the story about the actual land, there's quite some controversy about the actual land because they say it belongs to Chongwe, which is chieftainess in Chongwe owns this particular land or used to own the particular land.
Right.
It was used as a burial ground in those early
Wait, we are
early
seated
years.
on dead bodies right now.
I don't know about that.
But if it was burial
That's what it
land,
was
then
used
definitely
for.
there's an
That's what it
ancestor
was
not
used
happy
for.
somewhere here.
But anyway, the first guys to get the land was a group called Trade something or other. They first got the land. They asked us to buy the land with them and interest us in trying to build something here. They then went bust or something, and then they sold it off to another group, and eventually it came to where it is now. I forget the name of the first group that actually bought the land. And then they asked us to be anchor tenants. All these negotiations were way before 1998, of course. There was some debate about, whether a large store like this one would work, because our largest store and our biggest and best performing store at the time sales was Cairo Road, our first store. We opened that store in October 1995, just 2 days after independence. That was our biggest grossing store. There was some debate about whether a shop outside of the CBD, the Central Business District, would do what Cairo Road was doing. Because remember, at that time, 25 years ago, this was, I wouldn't like to say forest, but this was grassland. There was nothing here.
I can't even imagine that
You
now.
can't imagine that.
No.
Yeah, the greatest road was two-way. It wasn't a four-way or six-way lane. It was a two-way lane.
And yet it carried the name Great.
That was great because it went right up to Eastern Province, Chipata, yeah. But there was forest here. There was trees. There was not much here. There was grassland and everything. East Park and all those were not there at the time. So it was difficult to envisage or to envision how this would be a good idea outside of the CBD. Because all the traffic at that stage was going
Just
through the CBD. Yeah, we
CBD,
don't
town
have what
center.
we have now. People don't understand it, I suppose, because they don't remember or they were not there. But there were no residential offices. There were no residential shops.
Everybody worked from town then,
Everybody
yeah?
worked from town, as we called it. Yes, a
CBD, yeah.
So it was difficult to see, how would this work. So it was a bit of a hard sell, trying to come here. And I remember making the mistake myself at the time. Mistake it was, because the CEO that I spoke about, so he became CEO. At that time, he was general manager for Shoprite Zambia. I was the regional manager for Central, which included Cairo Road and would include this one. He asked me my opinion. He said, if we open Manda Hill or, where they're asking us to open, do you think it will do better than Cairo Road? And I said, no, not a chance. It won't.
Because we're far from town.
Yeah,
Nobody's
because
going to
we're far
come
from
this
town.
side.
It's grassland. It's who's gonna shop there. The reverse was incredible. Reverse was it was just the opposite, the complete opposite.
It's like you moved traffic from Cairo Road to here.
We did, yeah. We did. Yeah.
I know we can't really live the excitement that was there when Manda Hill opened, but are you able to just describe for us what it did for not only you and the people around you, but let's just say for the people of Lusaka and Zambia when the mall finally opened in 1999?
99, yeah.
Yes.
So at that stage, the biggest store was Cairo Road Shoprite. That was the biggest store. It wasn't a mall. It's a standalone shop. It's a three-story shop, but you shop on the ground floor. And that was the place to go. It was with this little parking space and all that. We didn't have the idea of malls here. We had the idea of malls outside of Zambia, especially in South Africa, of course.
Yes.
And nobody, us in any real sense, sort of thought, what would a mall be like? What would it look like? Would it pull people? So when we opened this particular shop and the mall, first of all, Cairo Road Shoprite is about 3,000 square meters. Okay, this Manda Hill is 6,000 square meters, so it's double the size of
You
Cairo
were very
Road.
ambitious with the project.
It was very ambitious.
You never know. You never even knew if
Yes.
it's gonna work.
No, we didn't know it was going to. But
Yeah.
we started with 5,000, about 5,000, 4,900, and then we had an upgrade section in case it did work,
Right.
which it did big time. So we upgraded. It's on the left side of us here. We upgraded to what is the 6,000 now, quite a few years ago, 10 or 15 years ago. So when we opened the mall, the store, first of all, in terms of its size, in terms of the selection, the range that we brought here, in terms of just the look and feel, but then the mall itself in terms of the shop. And remember, at that stage, game stores hadn't opened yet. So game stores, this was their first store in the mall in Zambia. That was their first store. So we were bringing to this mall Shoprite in terms of the groceries and toiletry side.
Yeah.
And then game store was bringing to the mall TVs, fridges, the hard goods as we call them, or white goods as we call them. Yes. So there was a very good mix with ourselves, and that was the first time in Zambia that this was happening. And then of course you had the small mix and matches of the small. Hungry Lion didn't yet come at that stage, but they were going. They came in a little later into the mall. So there was excitement here because it was a vast place. It was increased obviously at that stage. I think if I'm not mistaken, it must be now 35,000 square meters or something. 42,000 square
the
meters.
whole Manda Hill.
Yeah, 42,000 square meters. At the stage it started, I think it was 25,000, and then it was increased. But in any case, it was 47.
It's 47 now.
47 to now, yeah. Okay. So it was increased, but it was still large for what was happening in Zambia at that stage. And again, like we said, there was nothing else around. So, this now became the place to be. The excitement was palpable. It was actually palpable. I mean, nobody had seen a store this size in Zambia, not the footprint this size in Zambia. Nobody had seen a game at that stage in Zambia.
Oh, Cash Crusaders. Remember those Cash Crusaders?
Cash Crusaders came a little bit later.
Yeah.
Cash Crusaders were just next door to this Manda Hill here, just right here, and then they went over to the other side of the mall.
Do you know how I know those Cash Crusaders here? And I'm not proud to say this now, but as a young guy trying to raise money, Amasampo would come to sell stuff from our homes. Sometimes steal from our parents' homes to sell at Cash Crusaders. Hey, a guy had to do what a guy had to do.
So, Kalenga, this was the first mall where it was a one-stop shop proper. You could come here, park your car, come and buy groceries, toiletries, food stuff, go and buy your hard goods, your electrical stuff, go and buy your pharmaceutical stuff, sit down and have a lunch or a coffee, have a coffee meeting with your friends, barber shops, just the banks were here, so the whole mix was here in one place. Should never happened before here. So you can imagine that excitement was actually palpable.
And then Manda Hill, you sort of made like a CBD sort of.
Yes. It became the CBD.
Yeah.
It did, yeah.
Because everything that would follow to the CBD town center
was here.
Now
was here.
was in one place.
Now was here. So you had your eating places, they were here.
Yeah.
You had your pharmacies, they were here. You had your stationery shops, they were here. Bookworld started at the very beginning. There was your butcheries, they were here with the big butchery that we have here. There was your hard goods or white goods or electrical goods, they were here. Hardware, they were here. So barber shops, they were here. Boutiques, they were here.
Proper one-stop shop.
One-stop shop. So everything that you wanted to do in the CBD essentially
do here now.
was here, except maybe if you wanted to catch a bus proper.
Or you couldn't catch a bus.
The bus station was here, but I mean, you didn't have like a Kolima Tower where you have all the buses coming at one place.
Yeah.
But you did have a bus, the bus stop that was on this side here.
The other thing that's also changed in addition to just the building itself, the logo. Remember that logo with
Yes.
the logo, something like that with the H in the middle? Yeah. Like the horns and the H in the middle. Wow. So 25 years of Manda Hill. What does that mean to you? You who's seen it from day one, seeing it 25 years, still going strong, still running.
First of all, I think that, business goes through cycles. And cycles are kind of up and down.
Yeah.
And so you would expect that you started with a bang, and this one started with a serious bang. Cairo Road started with a bang because there was only one around. This one started with a bang, and then you would expect that over the cycle of 25 years, at least the first 10 years, you'll be doing all right. After that, because other people have now begun to come, you would now begin to see like a downturn, whatever it is. Alenga, it hasn't happened. So from the word go, this was our flagship store. It did the plain climbing. It's just been plain climbing. Now, granted, we have upgraded. So this is not what it was before. We didn't have a coffee shop at the time that we started.
We're actually at Vida Cafe in Shoprite.
In Shoprite, yes. And this is new. This is actually 2 years, just under 2 years old now. We didn't have a coffee shop before.
Right.
But so we have upgraded. So in that upgrading, I think has helped us keep the plane going. We thought we would do a very good 10 years. And then after that, obviously, competition came. The competition did come, by the way. The first competitor, Mall. Everybody else was inspired by what happened here in Zambia. Believe me, this was the first mall proper.
Yes.
And then everybody else began to see, but if those guys can make it with their mall,
So can we.
So Arcades came up. Arcades came up with the first competitor store in retail, which was Spa at the time, the Spa store. And that was their flagship store at the time. A few years later, after Manda Hill opened. But so for me, this store is inspirational in the sense of what it did to bloom the mall trade, the supermarket trade in Zambia. This mall, this shop, showed what can be done if you run it right. So as I said to you, we started with a bang, but a huge bang. I mean, we were the premier store in Zambia, but we were also the premier store outside of Africa, outside of South Africa, because there's some bigger malls in South Africa and bigger stores, checkers. But outside of South Africa, we were the premier mall and have been 25 years later. Now, we were overtaken once or twice by Bellas in Angola and Accra in Ghana, but we are back again at the top. I'm talking about Shoprite Manda Hill.
How so? What do you think puts you at the top?
I beg your pardon?
You're saying you were overtaken by Angola, Shoprite, and Ghana as well, but you're back at the top. Is it the population that's grown? Has our income grown as citizens in this country? What do you think has put you back on top?
I think it's a combination of factors. Angola and Ghana have their own economic challenges and difficulties, so it's not necessarily that the guys are dull or they don't know how to run a shop or whatever.
Right.
But they've got serious economic challenges, and therefore they're going in that cycle that I speak about. Retail and economics is about a cycle. So right now they are in the cycle that's kind of downwards, but I have no doubt in my mind they will slowly come back up again. So that's why we are where we are now. At the time that we were overtaken, remember, we were the premier mall, right? Mm-hmm. Then Arcades opened, right? Mm-hmm. Then another mall opened. Then another. Now we have something in the region of almost 90 big and small malls.
I'm talking about 95 malls in Lusaka alone.
In Lusaka alone, yeah. Now, all of those are a competitor to this one, whether you like it or not. If you live in, let's say you live in Nyukasama now, okay, you were shopping here.
Yes.
If I open a mall next to you there, even if it's not as good as this one.
You're changing, definitely.
Yeah, I'm changing your lifestyle.
You're saving my transport costs.
Yeah, exactly. So for your everyday goods, you will buy from your Kasama place. For your monthly shopping, you might then come here because then there's a bigger selection. But we've lost you for the time being because now you actually... So each mall that opened took away some people. Having said that, we still have 5,000 people coming here every day to shop.
So this is still one of the best, can I say best-selling, best-performing ShopRite stores in Zambia?
Yeah, it's the best. It is the best.
In Zambia?
In Zambia, yes. It is the best. Still. It is the best.
Look at Manda Hill management getting excited on your behalf right now.
So we've got serious competition from Pinnacle Mall. You guys call it Pinnacle Mall. We call it Kabulonga ShopRite. We've got competition from East Park, the shop that people say went to private school, the one near the university side. In terms of sales, we've got serious competition in terms of Mukuba Mall, which is in Kitwe, which is actually the number 2 in terms of sales, together with Pinnacle. But this is still at the top. At the top.
Interesting. Yeah. Speaking of the one at East Park, it looks very... You call it what?
Private school.
Private school. You call it what? ShopRite Select?
Select. Yeah, it's Fresh X, actually. Fresh X. Now, in your terms, we when you read there, it says Select. This one
I don't know why you just don't call it ShopRite Bougie. There's an idea. I think that would work. Yeah, just call it ShopRite Bougie. Because you just feel different.
For the name. Yeah.
Please. I'll send the invoice on Monday. What's the rationale with having that one totally different from the other Shoprites?
So what we did in Zambia, which is one of the reasons why we remained at the top in terms of the performance scale compared to our competitors, I like to say, is that we segmented the market. We're the only supermarket that has segmented the market proper. So we pander to the lower end of the scale. We pander as what the South Africans call LSM, living standard of measure.
Yeah.
We pander to the middle end of the scale. We pander to the upper end of the scale, and then we pander to the very top end of the scale.
So very top is the select store.
So very top is a Fresh X store. Now, we haven't used the term Fresh X because only just two of them. In South Africa, you've got a lot, so they call them Fresh X. But that is East Park and Pinnacle Mall are Fresh X stores. So you can see it by the look and feel of the floors. You can see it by the look and feel of the finishes.
The music is different. The air conditioning is different. I even feel my skin getting better when I walk into that one. You know what I mean?
The range is also a little bit difficult. A little bit
in terms of goods.
In terms of goods, yeah. So the more expensive products are found in those stores. Why? Because that kind of customer, shops with their look and feel. So if they see a product, they know a product, they buy the product. They don't check to see necessarily, what is the price of the product. Not necessarily. They do, but not necessarily.
I shop that way.
Yeah.
And it really angers my wife because every time I would get stuff and so how much was this? I really don't know. I don't know. I just like grabbing things and putting in the trolley. That's it. That's my kind of thing.
So that's the difference. So we segmented the market. And you will see typically Pinnacle Mall is that area that goes to State Lodge.
Yes.
So you have quite a lot of the guys that have got a lot of money living sort of on that side of the grid. Similarly, East Park, we made East Park a Fresh X store, and I think we did well with that decision as well because a lot of the traffic that goes past that East Park Mall on that side is actually the guys with quite a bit of the money.
I know. Oh, by the way, Mr. Bota told me not to ask any personal questions. So if we're not getting deeper into his life story, now you know why. I've taken you behind the curtain to understand what's going on here. But I'll try to squeeze one in. What does the general manager of Shoprite do on an ordinary day at the mall, like Manda Hill Mall? What are you up to here?
Come into the office, read the newspaper.
Boring.
No.
Please tell us something more entertaining. Do you watch a movie at Sturkinoko?
Once in a while with my wife, yeah. But my job is to drive sales, number one. My job is to inspire the Shoprite populace, number two. So they must see in the person who leads them somebody who's going in a direction. And there's two of that direction. The first is the sales direction, that we are actually on top of the economic scale. But the second is about their own lives, their own careers. Can I fit into this? Should I fit into this? Why must I follow this guy? So that is basically my job.
Yeah, because I was actually listening to a very interesting podcast this morning, and we were talking about what makes a great CEO or general manager in your case. And we were talking about how if the team that works under you can see that you can be vulnerable and there's a lot of empathy in you, then they'll work with you more diligently. Yeah, would you agree with that?
I do agree. I do agree with that. So I grew up in. Telling a bit of a personal story.
I'm happy now.
So I started in my work life in retail.
Okay.
I finished my studies at Dublin College. Joined a group called NIEC Group Limited at the time, National Import and Export Corporation Limited. It was parastatal. It was the Kaunda days, so everything was parastatal.
Was this a competitor to ZCCM?
No.
Sorry, ZCBC.
That's correct, yes.
ZCBC
was in the same group as us.
Right.
I was in the NIEC stores side of the group. Mm-hmm. So ZCBC, NIEC, National Wholesale, Moiseni, and all those, we were all in one group. We competed with one another.
Everything was owned by government.
It was, at the time, yeah. So anyway, I started my career there. I started in the stockroom.
Okay.
So I was lifting boxes and offloading trucks, actually.
Wow.
For about 9 months.
Wow.
But anyway, I went into management because I came from management studies. And I went into management 9 months later. Now, why I'm saying what I say is because I came up against, at that time, quite a lot of managers who were old school at the time because, you know, training and education in retail and economics was just coming in, okay? So
they didn't have that training.
Quite a few did not.
Okay.
But quite a few were dictators in the way they ran things, and there was no real choice.
That's how government was ran back in the day. So,
so it was a kind of a dictatorial. Quite a few, not all of them. There were some that were different. I think my particular general manager, at least the last one, was very, very different. But quite a few were like that, dictatorial. And dictatorial, you got things done in the short run, you did. But in the long term, people feel like, you know, you're driving them like slaves, man. You know, and people don't really, they'll follow for fear and not for respect.
They don't feel any empathy in you. So
there's no empathy in you towards them or their circumstances. So why should they then, you know, follow you in the long run? In the short run, they're afraid. They want their jobs. But, you know, it kind of wears off. You know, it's not a long-lasting thing of loyalty to fight and die for you. It's not. You know, maybe the best example to give is that national team that won us the Africa Cup. You remember that the boys would die for that coach. You remember Hevrena.
Oh,
I mean,
yes,
those boys would die for that
Yeah.
guy. You know, he was the friend. He was with them. He was in their lives. He was, you know, you die for the guy. That's what essentially you're supposed to be. So my job is to inspire the sales, yes, but how? Through the people that I lead. But how? They must see, here's a guy who's willing to do what I'm doing. So sometimes I'll go and help with what's happening in the offloading in the bay. I'll go and help with what's happening in the paperwork. I'll go to a funeral of a guy in the Copper Belt whose mother has died or something. I'll fly there and go and attend the funeral. So, I mean, the people must see, hang on, but, you know, this guy is actually one of us and he's driving us into a future that we can tap into. And therefore you create loyalty. My CEO is like that. The current CEO is like that. He's a guy who empathizes with the people. He's a guy who's into the lives of the people. He's a guy who thinks about bettering the lives of, first of all, his own staff and then the lives of the entire community afterwards. And that is actually his motto, bettering the lives of others.
I know you've said we're not going to talk about your personal life, but just what you've said, I think is going to inspire a lot of people to know that you've actually worked through, can we say, all the ranks in Shoprite?
I have. Yeah. So not in Shoprite. In retail, yes. So in retail, I started
from NEX stores.
From NEX stores. I started in the stockroom offloading boxes. In Shoprite, I came into Shoprite. I was already a branch manager at the time Shoprite came. So I started as a branch manager in Ndola, and then I've worked through all the ranks thereafter. Branch manager, regional manager, deputy general manager, general manager. So yes.
Now, knowing what kind of a proud Zambian you are and how proud you are of Shoprite, I mean, I can see the love and the glitter in your eyes when you talk about Shoprite. Do you ever feel torn between, especially when it comes to supporting local? There are local stores out there, you know what I mean? And you want to buy stuff in the hood. Do you ever get torn between?
No.
You always?
No, I don't. I'm a proud Zambian. I don't. I think if you ask our suppliers, you can ask them in your own spare time, all our suppliers that we have about 600 odd suppliers, you can ask them, who's the guy that pushes local in Shoprite?
Right.
And they'll give you my name without a question, because I do. You can ask the ministry, who's the guy that pushes? Because I do. I'm a proud Zambian. But I'm a proud Zambian. I'm also, I think, very conscious of the fact that you must be proud for nothing. And you must exact excellence rather than just supporting because
it's
you're
local.
a local guy, therefore we must buy from you. So I require from you, and the company requires from you, Shoprite Manda Hill requires from you, if you're going to supply them, excellence. So you must have a good product. Now, make no mistake, from when we started in 1995, from when Manda Hill started in 1999, the structure, the quality, the branding, the marketing, the trading of local products has gone through the roof. I mean, if you look at those local products, I still say many people walk the shelf. I'll give you the example once. I won't say which minister it was, but it was one minister of commerce, not the current one, but it was one minister of commerce in the past who came here into Manda Hill to come and inspect local products and see what we're doing for local products. So in order to help her and her team, we put up signs to show
What's local.
what's local and what's not local. Okay. We got to one section, which was at that time grapes. At that time, we stopped importing grapes. We were buying grapes from Kanakantapa here in Chongo. Anyway, we got the section. It was local grapes. And she said to me, I mean, it's written there, Zambian, proudly Zambian, or no, it wasn't proudly Zambian, it was made in Zambia or grown in Zambia or something.
Yes.
It's written. It's actually in her face. Then she says, you know, I'm looking forward to the day when we can stop importing grapes. So I said, ma'am.
It's written there.
Ma'am, these are local. She said, no, we import grapes. I said, no, this is by a Zambian farmer. I mean, the quality of the grapes, the sweetness of the grapes, the look of the grapes, the packaging of those grapes, it looked like it came from Europe or something, or South Africa or something. But similarly, the products that are in the store, like here, Manda Hill, quite a lot of those products, if you see some of the cans that we have now.
Yeah, it's a Zambian made.
Yeah, so, I mean, you would think it's foreign. Why would you think it's foreign? Because of the way it looks. And yet, guys have come up in terms of what they do with quality, in terms of what they do with branding, in terms of what they do with marketing. And we've always exacted, excellence. So if you bring a product that's not going to sell or a product that's not great, we'll talk to you about it. We'll say to you, sorry, we can't take it right now, but go and change the following features or do the following things, and then we can talk again, and that's what we do. Now, if I tell you about this store itself, it's the biggest store, as I said, to 6,000 square meters, Manda Hill. We've upgraded it to that. The next biggest store is about 3,009, almost 4,000 square meters, but this one is 6,000. This has about 23,000, 24,000 lines in it.
Okay.
90% of what we stock in this store, we buy locally. Now, some of it is imported, but somebody else buys it. But we buy from that guy, so we consider it as buying from a local guy because he's paying his workers here, he's turning money out in Zambian kwacha. But 90% we source locally. About 57% we actually buy locally. It's made here in Zambia. Okay. It's made here on this shelf. Now, people, I tell them those statistics, they look at you because they walk in and they think, that all these things are imported. No, they're not. 57% we actually made here. 90% we actually source local. 10% is what we bring in ourselves from outside. Just 10%.
A lot of people are afraid to come to your office. What conditions do you have for anybody to supply to Shoprite? I mean, can my mom raising chickens in Kalingalinga bring them to this Shoprite? Can my cousin growing apples
she can. Your mom can bring chickens, but we probably won't take them. And the reason being, chickens is a different ballgame. Chickens, okay. we do process chickens. So you can't sort of kill a chicken and then, dress it in your house and then we're going to sell it. We're not going to do that. So it must be processed. And processing is a whole other ballgame. And then also our volumes are huge. So we're not going to take 10 chickens from you, 10 chickens from her, and so on. We can't run our business like that. So we do massive volumes of chicken. And unfortunately, only the big players can do chicken. However, if you got apples, if you got if you're listening to me out there now, Manda Hill needs eggs. If you got eggs,
there's usually a shortage of eggs. Yeah.
If you got eggs, we're willing to take. If you've got carpenter, dry or fresh, we're willing to take. If so it is possible that you can walk into our offices and say, I've got the following product, will you look at it? Yesterday, a Zambian farmer phoned me 2 days ago. He phoned me and said he's got what he didn't know the name, but it's called kumquats. It's a fruit, kumquats. And he said, I've got these things on my farm, can I sell them to you? And I said, bring them to the office. He brought them yesterday. I took a picture, sent it to the agricultural guys. The agricultural guys rushed to my office because they want the kumquats.
It's on demand.
So
are you listening to this right now?
They're having a conversation about bringing the product, and they'll start probably with the 25-year-old Manda Hill stocking.
So I think let's just get our viewers to find out more, because I'm sure there's people producing stuff that they're afraid to supply to you. So what's mostly on demand? Eggs they can bring?
Eggs
in large quantities.
Yes. Eggs right now is a bit of a problem because the biggest supplier of eggs about a year and a half ago decided they were moving out of the eggs market. So that created a huge gap.
Okay.
And that gap hasn't been filled. So right now, if you've got eggs out there, wherever you are, Kasama, Mansa, Chipata,
Goats,
Buzabuka, whatever, you can bring. Goats?
Goat?
No. So the butchery for us is run by our partner, which is Zambeef. So you can bring, but you need to go to make a deal with Zambeef. So our butcheries are run by Zambeef. You can bring processed meats. You could do that. We can have a discussion around that. We do have one or two smaller players with the processed meats. We do. If you did drinks, by the way, a lot of people come to me to my office looking for drinks. Drinks is it's an over-traded category. Everybody's got drinks.
Too many people.
Everybody's got water. Yeah. Everybody's now got honey. If you got cashew nuts, we will buy cashew nuts. Bring those. If you got groundnuts,
bring those.
You add value
by peeling them.
You can bring those. So value addition is a good thing because everybody's doing the same things everybody is. Just try and do something a little different that sets you out from the rest. Do that. So what I'm saying to you is that we are not closed. Many people think we are. Yes, we are a huge company. Yes, it's not that you come, you bring your product and immediately take your product. We have to have the discussion. We have to determine, will this work for us? Will this make money for us? Will this make our customer, who's very important in the buying of that product, happy? Or are we just cluttering the space for that customer? So we will do the due diligence, but we will not say to you, you can't come. You can come. We might not take your product, but at least we'll give you the time of day. We will. Now, sometimes the buyers are difficult, but I'm not. I mean, many people will tell you, I often intervene in the process to see the guy, discuss with the guy, find out from the guy. If you're not going to take the guy's product, give him or her the reasons why so they can work on those products and let's see. If we category manage and then we see some products are dropping off, maybe we can bring that guy's products in or that girl's products in.
Mr. Bota, as Manda Hill celebrates 25 years of existence, what's your favorite store here? Where do you shop from the most? Apart from Shoprite, of course.
In Manda Hill?
In Manda Hill, yeah.
I don't want to mention my competitors' names, but I shop from one of the biggest stores here because we complement one another.
All right.
So, for instance, the other day I bought a washing machine. We don't do washing machines, but our competitor does washing machines, so I bought from there. But in terms of all my groceries and all my stuff, we are the cheapest. We are the best in terms of range. We have 23,000 lines here in this store. Why are you
going to go anywhere else?
Why am I going? Plus, I enjoy benefits of being of working for the group as well. So why would I go
and your shoes, your clothes?
No, that I buy from here. So my clothes do buy from here.
Which
the
store?
Pharmacy. The Foschini, the Woolworths.
Yes,
okay. The butter store.
Are these butter?
No, these are not butter. My son bought those for my birthday.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, but otherwise butter. 2 days ago, we bought 25 pairs of shoes for our sneakers for our football team from Butter 2 days ago. All my pharmacy medications and all that I buy from Link. It'll be expensive, but they're quite good. They're great.
Okay.
I buy my books from
Bookworld
if I can find them. Yeah. The last 2 books I bought were one about my tribe, which is the Tumbuka tribe, and the other one was by an economist called Dr. Chalava, called The Laggards of the Economy. Bought it from Bookworld. So I do shop here. All my haircuts. From the barber shop.
All your grey hair is cut from this
mall.
You're 62 years old now, yeah?
I'm 62 years old, yes.
You don't look it, eh?
Thank you.
I promise you, if you dyed your hair, you could even pass for 45.
Well, some have said I should dye my hair. I'm fine, I'm okay.
I think it gives you a more distinguished look, the grey hair. Just maintain it. Mr. Bota, of all your accomplishments in your tenure here at Shoprite, what do you think is your greatest achievement?
When I look at, and I'll bring it back to Manda Hill so I can put it in the perspective. When I look at the staff, the managers, and where they are now and where they were before, and the hand that I've had to play, that I've played in their lives, that humbles me, that makes me proud. Last week, we were in Ndola, celebrating the graduation of our managers, our branch managers. We took them through a Shoprite Leadership Way training course, which is 5 months long. It's a residential school type of study that is in-house. So they were graduating. So we had the guys from Lusaka and Southern Province and Central graduating here, and then we had the Northern and the Copper Belt graduating in Ndola. And there were about 16 or 17 of the ones in Ndola. And each one of them introduced themselves to their fellow members of staff, who they were. And I saw 6 or 7 of them who I had personally employed.
Okay.
And who, and every single one of the ones that actually were introducing themselves had personally helped move up the ladder, because I've been GM for the last 10 going into 11 years.
Okay.
So it's a very proud thing that young people, young men and women, can start where they started, study outside and study in the system, and be where they are with their careers where they are. One lady, Kalenga, it's about maybe a month and a half ago, one lady spent now 18 years or something in Shoprite, 18, 19 years in Shoprite. She wrote to me saying, I have educated my children as a result of my job here in Shoprite.
Wow.
One of them is in university. The other one was now going into college. And then I think the third was coming into grade 11 or something.
Wow.
And she said, all of this is because of what I have done with this company. That humble. And she said, thank you. She said, thank you to you because you've been a father. Everybody sees you as a father.
Yeah.
She said, thank you to you. You've been a father and you've been a mentor to one of those children of mine.
Wow.
And I'm thankful. So that makes me sleep well at night. Makes me sleep well at night. We have 7,000 workers, Kalenga, in total. 7,000 workers. We're one of the largest employers. We have 4,300 direct workers. And then the rest are indirect workers. But 7,000 is what we affect. If the JCT Theological Studies is correct and every worker looks after 6 people, and we affect somewhere in the region of 35 to 40,000 people directly.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, those workers, I would like to think, have started from somewhere while I was with them and now where they are while I had been with them. And it helps me sleep well at night.
You've been in Shoprite 29 going on 30 years.
That's correct.
You're now general manager, which is the top job at
Correct.
Shoprite in Zambia right now.
Correct.
You're 62 years old.
Correct.
Still looking young and handsome.
Thank you.
But for me, the most important question now is, what next?
For me? Well, we are expanding.
Okay.
So Manda Hill was our 17th store at the time.
Okay.
After Manda Hill, we opened up a few more stores and we got to 41. So we've got 41 stores in the country. Because of how we've been able to perform, in spite of the difficulties in the economy, the group has allowed us to grow. So we are expanding. So we are opening 6 more stores this year, 2024. And then we'll do a few more stores next year, probably about 5 more stores next year, or 6 stores. So by the end of next year, we'll have opened somewhere in the region of 10 if the economy holds. So what next is to continue to grow, to continue to offer jobs, to continue to affect the society with our community helps and our CSI. I call them CSI, corporate social investment, not corporate social responsibility.
Yeah.
I think investment is a better term because you are investing in the community and we do. So it's a lot more of affecting the community, affecting the society, affecting Zambia for me. I've still got 1 or 2 more years to go and we'll see where that takes
what
us.
next for you? That's Shoprite. What next for you?
I'm not going... I don't know. That depends on my superiors, so I can't answer that question.
Okay. Interesting. Just one last question, which is very Shoprite centric. I lived in Akonde for 3.5 years. There's no Shoprite in Muchinga province. The province has been in existence for 13 years now.
That's correct.
No Shoprite, no Hungry Lion, which I'm sure is under you as well. Is it?
It used to be. But
used to be.
Anglo Lion, yeah, I'm chair for the board, but it's not under me directly now. But they are their own company now.
But why is there no Shoprite in Muchinga?
There will be now. So what happened with Muchinga was that, if you remember, there were 9 provinces. Muchinga wasn't a province.
Yeah, like I said, it's 13 years old now.
Yeah, so we were in all the 9 provinces. We were quite happy to be. So we were in that side of Zambia
In
through
Kasama.
Kasama.
Yes.
Correct. Now, President Sata, when he came, he decided to make that one a province on its own. So he cut off everything else, which included us. So he excluded us from that province, if you like.
Yes.
So now we began to think of ideas, how do we get into that province? So I'm glad to say that 10 stores that I'm speaking about, 2 of them we are exploring Nakonde first. and then Nikita second. Hungry Lion is doing the same, actually. In fact, Hungry Lion, I think, will open before us.
Are you able to put a date on Nakonde?
If everything went according to plan, it would be a 1 year to 1 year, maybe 3 months project. So if we got the land and everything now, which is what we're negotiating with the developer and all that, if we got all of those things now, before the end of next year, we'd be opening Nakonde.
Nakonde people, please put this on record. Mr. Charles Bota, the general manager of Shoprite, has stated that within a year, let's just say a year and a half max.
2 years.
Let's just say 2 years max. We are finally going to have Shoprite in Nakonde. And I can tell you, it's not only going to excite people in Nakonde, but across the board as well. Because people there live like one community.
No, we've been there. I've done the survey there. So, I mean, it's massive. I mean, I stood there on my last visit. We flew to Nakonde and we stood by the road there. The border is that side, the road. You know, they're increasing the size of that road.
No, it's actually done.
The number of trucks that passed
Per
us
minute.
by per minute, not per hour.
It's amazing.
Per minute was shocking. It was incredible, the commerce that is on that border.
It's amazing. It's like a beehive.
So we were missing a trick there. So yeah, we're going there.
Yeah, I've got an office there. So from my office in Nakonde, I can tell you, like, you're going to have a lot of business, especially from the other side where the population is even bigger. I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you the truth. More information I'm giving you for free. That one I won't even invoice you on Monday. Mr. Bota, thanks a lot for coming through.
Thank you. Let me just make a punt for the shop that we're talking about here.
Yeah.
Manda Hill celebrates 25 years. It's a proud, proud record for Shoprite itself. It's a proud, proud record for me personally. It's a proud, proud record for the workers that are here and those workers that have passed through here. And I hope it's a proud, proud record for the 5,000 to 6,000 customers a day that we service here and have service for the last 25 years and counting. It's still the premier shop. It's still the premier store. Some people debate whether it's the premier mall, but we can have the debate because East Park has come.
Janaba,
But
is it?
But
Manda Hill is the premier mall in Zambia.
we can have the debate.
We're talking to...
I leave it to you, but Manda Hill store is the premier store and by far. So very proud that we're turning 25. Very proud to be here to speak about that. Very, very expectant to see, you know, what the future has got for this particular store.
Chanaba. Oh, she's actually wearing a Manda Hill at 25 t-shirt. No, I just wanted to give you a shout out for this episode. She's the, what are you again? She's the head of marketing for Manda Hill Mall. I don't know, I always feel like you're the manager here because she's isn't she in your office like every day?
Every day.
Like she's the mall manager or something. She loves her job. Yeah, that's Janaba behind the background.
She's very good at
and,
it, actually.
yeah, we'll keep her in the background because she's too beautiful. If you put her on the spot, the market just might triple. The Chaka Monica win. Mr. Bota, thanks a lot for coming through.
Thank you very much, Kalenga. I appreciate you having me. And thank you, viewers, for having me as well.
I think
And
we've
please
squeezed...
support Manda Hill.
Yes. I think we've squeezed more out of you than we discussed earlier. This man here planned on being with us just for 10 minutes because all he wanted to talk about was Manda Hill Mall. And now we've gotten more out of him. He loves Manda Hill that much. Mr. Bota, thanks for coming through.
Thank you very much, Kalenga. Appreciate it.
And thanks a lot to our sponsors, BigTree Beverages, and giving us these drinks. We actually have a little fridge with us today. We had to bring the fridge on set just so you see what it looks like when it's set in a fridge. That's Brothers Mocktails, ready to drink. You can get them from Shoprite at Manda Hill Mall.
That's right.
And any other supermarket around the country. Well, let me not say any other. We've been getting people asking questions. They can't get it in some supermarkets. But I can assure you, by the time this episode goes up, we would have spoken to them, and you're going to be seeing it in all supermarkets around Zambia. My name is Kalenga. To the next episode. Have a lovely day.
Dun 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 dun